Looking good, Italian job.
I'm feeling good, Tommy Boy. We are, what, 3 weeks removed from actually talking and recording an episode, so my bad.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I did go on vacation, which was nice.
I went to Kansas City for a grow ruck, which was nice. Probably not the same level of niceties that you had, but it was nice.
Hey, I will tell you, you met some high-impact men while you were there, I'm sure. I re-met a high-impact man that we have on the show today, and we'll introduce him in a minute. But I was down in Florida working out and on an off-the-books workout, and our guest today drove like 40 minutes south just to be with me and another PAX because it's no longer a workout there, but he came down to do it anyway. And we had cafeteria afterwards, had some good conversation, and that's what led to the conversation today. I'm gonna tee it up to you, Tommy Boy, and say, we're hearing in the news, AI's everywhere. What did you want to title this episode, and what are we talking about?
Well, because of the formula of the conversation, I put my own AI in my own head to work, and this is going to be AI in the AO.
Nice.
There could be a lot of other A's in there that could take us in a lot of different directions, but you're right. I mean, this week, as we record, we're 3 days removed from Apple having their big announcement of how they're incorporating ChatGPT in some pretty amazing ways. For anybody who watched that presentation, man, I wish I had the Apple calculator when I was in school. Would never have to worry about that SAT again.
For some reason, I still know plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Don't know what it is. Don't know what it is, but I memorized it for some kind of a test back in the day. AI does all the stuff for you, apparently.
I think that's the code for like 30 min in Contra, right?
I think it's up, up, down, down, left, right, left.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, here's what's great, though, right? You can I'm in marketing, and I remember a lot of folks were terrified when AI started to become this when ChatGPT went to Series 4, the proverbial S got real. Mm-hmm. And you can either run away from it, or run to it and figure out a way to make it your own. And that's what our guest today has done. And there's ways to leverage it in such a way that it becomes this dynamic, a personal assistant, right? It just takes a moment to cut through the chit chat online and be like, oh, this is a device, right? And a device should work for me, not me work for it.
It's another tool.
It becomes a tool, right? Because a device, a 4-year-old can pick up and learn how to use it. An iPhone, right? A 2-year-old can use it in a matter of moments. But a tool takes a little bit of skill. And so our guest today has taken the AI, the ChatGPT specifically, and honed it into a tool. So I'll let you bring him on since you were the one who connected with him, reconnected with him.
So this guy, when I knew him years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, Conroy was in the Low Country in South Carolina. And he was one of our troubadours, and this goes back in the Rolodex for those who've been around for a minute. Troubadours were guys who literally went to other regions and really got to know them and hear their struggles and give them some coaching advice. Have you considered doing the following? This is what we've seen that's worked elsewhere. And so Conroy is our guest today. So Conroy, I'll ask you if you can give the guys a little name-orama, name, age, how you got the name Conroy and where you're located now.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So Clark Robinson, Conroy. I'm 54. About
Respect.
55. Yeah. Thank you. Started actually, this guy named Lizard's Thicket in Charleston that I grew up with, and took his shirt off on the beach, and I was like, what are you doing? And so he told me about F3, and I let that sink in for about 2 years before I did anything about it. And I was living in Beaufort. We didn't have F3. You called a guy up, and he put me in touch with another guy, and we started AO there in Beaufort. And I got my name because I went to the Citadel and grew up in Beaufort, and Pat Conroy did the same. So it was just similarities, and that's how I got Conroy. So
nice.
Yeah.
You recently relocated down to Florida, right? Within the last few years.
Yeah,
Where are you in Florida?
About a year in Jacksonville and got to know those guys. That was really great. And then moved down to Daytona Beach Shores and have been here for 2 years now. So yeah, and we've got some F3 going on, and we're trying new places and trying to get really a bigger following down here. Yeah,
awesome. So after the workout last week, I guess it's been a week or so, we had the boot camp off the books, and then we went and grabbed some coffee afterwards. And actually, I probably had about a 1,200 calorie hot chocolate because I'm a child, and everyone was pointing and laughing, I'm sure, but it didn't matter because it was delicious.
They're taking it out of the school system, huh?
It was delicious. But while we were sitting at the table, we were just kind of talking about how things have changed, and we were talking about different technologies that we can use for our advantage, things like taking notes for us in meetings and how AI can take complex things, or at least what we view as complex, and within seconds can generate something that summarizes it, makes it understandable, but not only understandable, it mimics the way you think, the way that you talk. So there are some people in the workplace who have literally mastered the point that they can type a prompt in, and based on its knowledge of you, it will generate something and pop it out that really works and sounds like something that you've created. And Conroy was like, you can use this for personal training, for not only in your professional world, but in your personal world, in your workouts and that sort of thing. So yeah. Conroy, talk us through what you discovered, and then maybe an example of how it works.
Yeah, so I'm a bit of an early adopter. And when I was at a cafeteria 2 years ago, and a guy who is the chief information officer at the local hospital here was telling me about ChatGPT, and he's like, "Hey, look, you can just put in anything and it'll create a poem." And so he did that, and it blew my mind, So I started using it a good bit, and at first I was using it like put just fun stuff in there, but then I was like, if I could do this, I could probably do another thing, and maybe I can design a workout. And then ChatGPT, just as a prompt, got much easier to use. And this latest version that anybody can get, this 4.0, is it actually incorporates the internet, which didn't happen before. You can put files in there and it'll interpret the files. So it's much more powerful, really than it ever has been. And the 4.0 version, for free, you can get it and it'll time out after like 20. It'll give you like, you gotta log on again 24 hours later to get this version. But it'll default back to the 3.5, which is pretty awesome by itself, So I just use it as a tool, and not as my own voice, So I'll put something in there and say, "Hey, can you give me some ideas?" And it'll spit back something pretty powerful. So specifically with the workout plan, I was paying somebody, personal trainer, for a workout plan. And I got some pretty good results from that. But then I started using ChatGPT, and it gave me just as good of a workout, and I could mix it up and, specifically for weight training and then some of my cardio, and gives me ideas. And then I can improve upon that with my non-AI brain. And, it just makes it better. So, yeah. Does that make sense? Answer your question?
Yeah, that's perfect. Now, when you type this stuff in, how long does it take to generate? Is it like 5 minutes and it churns through it, or is it like, bam, this is just
right
instant?
Away. Yeah. So
crazy.
and you can iterate, what you ask it. So when it gives you a response right away, usually right away, you can refine it and just get more detail. And so, yeah, that's a really cool, it blows your mind actually, that it can do that quickly. So, and it really is all about the prompt. Like, so what you type in there, the specificity that you include is going to generate a message just for you. And that customization is what you don't get on an internet search.
Right.
You get it because the the large language model is taking all that information and customizing it to your prompt. And so it becomes like, you're only as good as the prompt you give it, So, yeah. You want to go through an example?
Yeah. I mean, so, yeah, I think we won't be able to show like step by step for people to watch it. So if you ask, just tell us what you're typing in or whatever, and kind of give us an idea of the generated response that you're getting. So, let's see what it does and see how good this stuff is, to see if it makes any sense to us and our listeners.
Yeah. So before this, I asked you for some information, and so I went ahead and pre-populated that. Okay. I said, "Good morning, ChatGPT."
You're so cordial.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to be kind to it, so it'll be kind back to you. So
when it takes over, it will remember you.
It will remember you.
It does.
You're
remember,
cool,
actually. And you can do all of this, by the way, by voice. So it'll give you like a voice response back, and it does document it in ChatGPT. But I said I'd like to design a workout for my friend Italian Job. He's 41, height is 5'9", 160 pounds. He currently works out F3 boot camp style workouts 4 times a week. His goal is to drop 150 pounds to I was going to say 250 pounds per week.
He's a 10-pound man.
150 pounds without drastically changing his diet, which is pizza once a week, no alcohol, mostly chicken and vegetables for dinner, rarely breakfast, drinks mostly water, and a few processed snacks per day. Design a weekly workout and eating plan in a table format. Please include a meal plan example. And so it came up with a weekly workout plan. Said, hey, Clark, let's get a Italian Job, a solid plan. Here's a weekly workout and eating plan to help him reach his goal while keeping his beloved pizza night. So
which is Friday night, by the way. Tonight is pizza night. So.
And it's a good night for I set it up so you can tell it a little bit about yourself and tell it what kind of prompts you want, and whether you want it casual or formal or more information. So I got this meal plan, and I wish I could show it to you, but it's got example of day 1 through 7, and then it has a whole daily meal plan example. So, it'll give you Monday, skip breakfast, grilled chicken salad, snacks, yogurt, dinner, and a snack too, so it gives you all that stuff just laid out in seconds. And then it gave me some notes. It said, you should aim to keep your calorie intake in check, especially on non-pizza nights, have light snacks throughout the day. And that can prevent overeating. Stay hydrated with water is key. Include strength training and HIIT in his routine that will help him boost metabolism and burn more fat. And then flexibility on pizza night allows him to enjoy his favorite meal without feeling constricted. I said, hey, will you put in a weightlifting plan? Because it came back with just boot camp style workouts. So then it gave me 4 days a week weightlifting plan with upper body push, and it has 6 different exercises and the reps and sets that you should do. It's got lower body, it's got upper body, and then a full body workout. So it's everything you need right there, and it talks about the intensity and all that. So it, and then you can iterate, and you can say, hey, I want to work on my shoulders for the next 8 weeks, and it'll give you a shoulder type plan. There's so many things you can do with this, and just keep iterating. And for me, I have the voice function turned on. So when I want to brainstorm, I just use this thing and just talk to it, and it talks back, and then I can put in a file and say, hey, what do you think of this? Can you summarize this? And it'll come back with that information. So.
My mind is officially blown, Tommy boy. I, for one, bow down to our AI overlords. Thank you, Siri. Thank you, ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, Alexa. The other thing that I've been using it for lately is, sometimes when you're queuing a workout, it's, I get on this little website, I'll look at other backblast stuff like that, and I'll still do that, but then. If I've just got a little bit of time, I'll throw something in this, and it gives me a solid place to start. So the other prompt we had this morning was to design a workout. I said, please refer to the F3 website and use the lexicon in the website to design it in that format. And then
really, it can go into the lexicon, and instead of calling a push up, it'll call it a merkin.
Yep, that's right.
Wow.
So I put in things like, we'll have cinder blocks available, but most of it will be body weight. You do some circuits, and then a mix of chest, legs, abs, cardio. So that's all you really need to put. You can put stuff like, there's a bridge right by the park that we're going to be working out and stuff like that, and it'll incorporate that stuff. But yeah, spits out a workout. I actually asked it to give some motivation too. So it said it would draw on the inspiration from the story of the 300 Spartans at the Battle of Thermopylae, and who tirelessly prepared and stood resilient against overwhelming odds. And so it refers to that throughout the workout, so you can use that. And then it's got warm up, 10 minutes of warm up with side straddle hops, windmills, imperial walkers, arm circles, mountain climbers, and then it's got Merkins in the first partner up exercise with cinder block, chest press, wide arm Merkins, planks. It goes on and on. So it gives you the whole workout, and I'm telling you, this happened in like 4 minutes.
I'm queuing next week. Can you send me this? Because 11 years, I tend to repeat things. I mean, this is incredible. It's literally using the lexicon, and it's because my workouts, I like to do that warm up sounds a lot like my warm ups anyway. I like to do the partner pushes. I like to do the four corners style escalator workouts. But I also, in my COT, like to give a motivational conversation to talk about resiliency or building strength now to be prepared for tomorrow and that sort of thing. It sounds like, Conroy, it's literally taken the blueprint from what I've done for years and has said, hey, you go on cruise control a little bit. I got this. And then it's just a matter of doing what it's already. I gotta stop talking because my mind is blown. Just crazy.
They'll know when you create your own workout, IJ, because at the end of your COT, the last sentence is always, and that's when we crush the humans when they're at the so there is a giveaway. You gotta pre-read it.
You got to take it out. I got you.
Yeah,
cool.
You
Good to
know.
Good
when
to know.
To stop reading out loud. Check it out, Podpaxers. F3gear.com is your official source for F3 gear and apparel. You know it, you wear it daily in the gloom, and not only is it the gear built for you and built to withstand the toughest beatdown, but a portion of all sales benefit F3 Nation. The team at F3 Gear is constantly building new partnerships to bring the packs the latest, like our new partnership with Bison Coolers. These things are pretty amazing, and custom decorated with the F3 logo. The heat is cranking up across the gloom, so swing by F3gear.com, grab a seat shield for the summer, or the gear you need to perform at your best during the hot summer months. Find all this and more at F3gear.com, F3gear.com, F3gear.com. Head over and take a look around the shop today. Back to the show.
The thing that blows my mind is how it can go into the website and pull stuff out and then incorporate it into your customized request, So in the circle of trust, it actually says, circle of trust and ball of man, and it says, gather packs in a circle, share a theme of resiliency, relating it to the story of the 300 Spartans, emphasize the importance of doing hard work today and to prepare for the challenges of tomorrow. Highlight the Spartans' rigor. So gives you great ideas, that you can just roll through. And you can use it with everything, like your personal life, and I've used it a lot. So there's a lot of things that it gives you good ideas, and then you make it your own, So
the secret really is in the prompting, right? And it is kind of having. It sounds weird to say, but you're having a conversation with this thing, and that's the key. And the ability for it to either correct itself or be corrected by further prompting is where the magic happens, because then you can really drill down on what you're trying. And let me back up one step. In doing that process, you, the person, can hone what you're really trying to achieve. you may find in that conversation, oh, I know I asked this originally, but what I'm really looking for is to develop stronger shoulders, right? IJ, I always think of your example of carrying luggage to the airport. I just want to be a good dad and a husband and be strong for my family when needed, right? And then you can use that through your prompting to develop these plans, or just to give you really great ideas on how to be a better person. I mean, I've used it for COTs and sent it to the massive amount of content that is the Q source on our website, right? Which is right there in the resource section. And it's great because it'll pull from specific examples from it and drill down onto whatever it is we want to address. It really is amazing.
That's
and it also writes really great fart jokes.
Hey, so I've got to ask, Conroy, before I ask, I have to tell you guys a story. My son, 4 years old, wants me to tell him a story every night. And he's tired of the books that we have on the bookshelf. And there's a ton of books on the bookshelf. But he will say something like, Daddy, tell me a story about ninjas and dragons. By the way, I don't know of any stories about ninjas and dragons, but ChatGPT will literally generate a story about ninjas and dragons, and I'll tell him to incorporate my son's name. And it's just, and I can just sit there. The lights are off. I've already read to him. And he just wants something, and he wants to prolong the bedtime routine. And I'll sit in the chair and literally read him a story about my son, the dragon slayer, the ninja dragon slayer. And it just writes a really cool story, and it changes every time. There's something different. And it's just, I say that to say, Conroy, you said you use this in other aspects. Like, what kind of other things have you used it for that we haven't even thought about?
Yeah, so I've used it for a lot of things. In my job, I'm a leader of salespeople, and so I've done role plays with it, sales situations where I just, make it as good or as hard as I want it to be, so think of things that I haven't thought of. I've used it. I have the Microsoft version Copilot that sits alongside my Teams calls and transcribes the call, and then it can take that information and ask questions that are unresolved. It can make goals for the next meeting, all of those things. So just another use of that. You can do the same thing with ChatGPT. And then I've used it just to solve problems, like as I'm prepared for an interview, for example, throwing all the documents in it that I think would be relevant to the interview, and then created action plans and presentations, using the information that it spits out. You can kind of tell if somebody's using it just for, they don't change any of it, so you got to make it your own. And we don't want to have a world where we're sending off emails that are AI created, and then they're being answered by, AI created emails. That's all you've got is AI communicating with AI. And that's where it gets a little scary. I think it's just really important to temper what we put in there and what comes out. And I'm in the healthcare industry, and there's a big push to use AI in healthcare, and we should use it, but we've got to make sure that it's accurate. We can't replace, what we know, and that's the guidelines. It's kind of the wild, wild west right now. There's not a lot of guidelines, but there will be when we go forward. So, so it's limitless. There's a lot of places you can use it, and I've used it for, a personal life, situations that are difficult in dealing with other human beings. Just give me ideas that I can bring into and provide more value, and make a bigger impact.
And my mind is blown. I've said that 4 times already. This is incredible stuff. Tommy Boy, I know that you've used it in the past, and you are also on the cutting edge technology wise. And have you seen any downfalls of it? I know Conroy kind of mentioned, if you don't edit it, it can come across, it sounds like somebody else has written it, or it sounds like all of a sudden the D student has written a report that looks like it should have been drafted by a PhD, so you gotta have you seen any of those examples? And I guess, Tommy Boy, we'll start with you. Have you seen anything where somebody's plugged something in and it's like, that's not that doesn't look right.
Yeah, I mean, that's always my hope. It's going to sound a little bit paranoid, but it really is that if it becomes, Conroy, you just said it. If you don't cross-check it, then that's where you get into trouble. Yeah. I use it quite a bit to create content, but if I'm not going back in to make sure that it's not our voice on the farm, then it's very obvious, at least to me, that it's AI generated. So it sounds a little, it's like eating fresh food versus eating processed food, right? It just sounds processed. And if that becomes the norm, then you're in trouble. The old man in me, the 48-year-old grumpy old guy that misses glam rock from the 80s and 90s, sees it all the time in music. Everything's auto-tuned. Everything is perfect. And when it's perfect, it's boring. And so I hear it all the time. Fake music, fake instruments, fake beats, auto-tuned voices. And that's become the norm. And to me, it's just kind of sad because it loses the heart and soul. And then somebody comes along and sings for real and everybody blows up like, have you heard this voice? It's like, yeah, man, we used to have them all the time.
Yeah, that's how it used to be.
Yeah, so that's where I truly miss it. Everybody loves to go bananas about their first live concert, and even nowadays, live music isn't really that live; it's a track, and that is where you can get into the concerns that people have when they think about machines taking over. Right? Not to that extent, of course, but it can certainly ruin things when everything's perfect. I think of, we're all dads, and I think of the Incredibles. When everyone's super, no one will be.
Good point.
There you go. I just asked it to create a poem about F3 and draw on elements from the website. And, what it came up with is pretty good. You guys want to hear it?
Yes.
Roll it.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
In the dawn's early light, the packs arise. F3 brothers, no surprise. With a welcome to the gloom and a hearty cheer, we conquer the day, no place for fear. From the COT to the circle of trust, we push our limits. We know our must. In the world's best boot camp, we make our stand with burpees, merkins, and sweat on the land. We run through the gloom side by side, embracing the suck in stride. We stride. From the shovel flag to the AO, in rain or shine, we're ready to go. With him leading the way, we take the cue. In fitness, fellowship, and faith, we stay true. From mumble chatter to the bomb, we bond together like an F3 psalm. We're not just men, we're brothers in flight. In the gloom, we find our light. So join us in the gloom. Don't be late. In F3, we accelerate.
What?
Pretty crazy.
What?
Yeah. All the keywords, Yeah.
Oh,
you can see that you would want to change some of it, right? But I mean, it's pretty cool that it came up with all of that in seconds, So,
Tommy boy, why did we learn things in college again? Why did we? I mean,
I'd just like to announce now that this is our last actual podcast.
everything else is going to be generated.
We'll just sit back and just collect the ad sponsorship, right? And then we'll just phone it in.
Wow. Yeah. Which is a reminder, if anybody is listening and wants to see it, it is also on YouTube. To know that we're real people, you can check out F3 Nation on YouTube and look for Stuff Worth Trying podcast, where you can see Tommy Boy. It's all green screen, and
I don't even have a beard. This is all AI generated.
It's true. These glasses, not real, Tommy Boy. Wait a minute. Watch what I look up. You see that? Fake ring light. Oh, yeah. Not even real. Not even real.
Well, Conroy, man, we appreciate you coming in, talking through, this thing that we're still figuring out. You said it best. It's the wild, wild west. And it's a great space to have fun. It's a great space to test your limits. And that's the challenge, right, to the guys who want to get in on this. Don't take the easy way out. Lean into it, have a conversation with this device, and hone it into your tool so that you can use it responsibly, but also with impact. And I think that's what's so exciting is with these back and forth prompts and spending a moment, not taking the easy road. This can be a really powerful way to improve, as we've heard today, not just your workout, your fitness regimen, how to build a skill set, right? How to become a better person through regimented practices. And I dig it, man. I applaud you for setting the tone for us.
This has been a lot of fun. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. Tommy boy, I'm going to close out with a tweet that I wrote. I actually wrote it, but now I'm starting to wonder if I should just say, ChatGPT, read all of my tweets in the past and then write me one a day for the next 365 days. But this one I wrote that may have been AI generated. I don't know. It sounds like it. Anyway, in order to run faster, run with faster runners. To be a better leader, surround yourself with people you would follow. Choose your group carefully because their traits will rub off on you. My mom always used to say, if you lay down with dogs, you get fleas. And it's the same way. If you hang out with high impact men, they're going to rub off on you. You're going to become a high impact man. So Conroy, as a high impact man that I personally have met in person now and in the virtual world, thank you for being on the show with us. We are better learning from men like you and spending time in the gloom and virtually with you. So thank you for your time. Tommy boy, always a pleasure to spend time with you, my friend. I'll be passing through the Greensboro area next week. Maybe we can grab a meal or something.
Ooh. Don't threaten me with a good time. All right, Podpaxers, as always, be good, or to avoid the machine takeover, at least be good at it.
Appreciate you, man. Love you guys.
Thanks, guys. All right.